Risking more of China's wrath, Taiwan and the United States have announced plans for trade negotiations. The two sides are hoping to pave the way for a future free trade agreement. Beijing says it firmly opposes the move and has warned Washington to stop all forms of official exchanges with the island.
Trade negotiations between Washington and Taipei have yet to begin, but Beijing is already warning of a resolute response.
我们要求美方停止任何形式的美台官方往来，不得与中国台湾地区商签具有主权意涵和官方性质的协定，不得借经贸名义向台独分裂势力发出任何错误信号，不要一错再错。
The first round of formal trade talks is expected next month. The reverberation from Nancy Pelosi's explosive visit to the island is sure to be still ringing loudly. China has continued to hold military drills in the region, but Washington says the show of might will not prevent the US deepening its economic ties with the island. And Taiwan as well has continued with its own defense exercises, simulating a potential attack. Trade talks will touch on what the two sides see as China's economic coercion. But the end goal is a free trade deal, which Taiwan has long sought with the US. It's a touchy subject that could imply official relations between Washington and the island, something that China resolutely rejects.
Well, let's go live to Nick Harper in Washington, D.C. What's being made of the timing, Nick, with the U.S. choosing to embark on a trade initiative with Taiwan now?
Well, Jill, on the surface of this, the timing does seem problematic. We had Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island. We then had a separate delegation of US lawmakers also visiting Taiwan. And now we have yet another thing, which is stoking tensions between the US and China. But I think it is America showing that they will not back down in the face of Chinese aggression. That is something that the State Department and the Biden administration has been clear about throughout, that they will continue doing what they want to do, even though China has responded over the last couple of weeks with those military exercises, those live fire drills around the island. This trade agreement was announced back in June. They now said that they reached the negotiating mandate, so it means that they're ready to start the talks. The talks themselves, or at least the first round, in theory, will take place sometime in the autumn. That seems to be the timing coming from officials at the moment. I guess we have seen the US moderate the timing of other things in recent weeks. For example, it delayed its ICBM, its intercontinental ballistic missile test, by a couple of weeks. It was worried about ratcheting up tensions with Beijing. That test now has gone ahead. But really, bottom line, I think America saying that it will go ahead. It will continue to support Taiwan, even though we've seen that aggression and the potential to stoke tensions even further with Beijing.
Oh, well, that's just it. What is Washington's endgame, given that the move is only going to add fuel to the fire as tensions soar with Beijing?
Yeah, it certainly is. But I think the Biden administration has been clear throughout the last year and a half that President Biden has been in office. It intends to counter the dominance of China in the region. It intends to stand up to what it sees as aggression coming from Beijing to regional partners in the Asia-Pacific region. It wants to also support Taiwan. I think there is a genuine desire. We've seen President Biden make comments about a desire to support Taiwan, even to the extent of militarily, if needs be, in the future. There is that desire to help Taiwan, but there's also a genuine desire to increase trade with the island. That relationship is already worth in the region of about $100 billion of trade. It's hoping to extend that, especially considering that Taiwan is the leading maker of semiconductors worldwide, something that the US has been in short supply of in the last couple of years. The US is trying to boost its own production here at home, but having that strategic partnership with Taiwan would certainly help. I think that increase of support is very much the bottom line, because it helps Washington be able to say to Beijing that it's ready to stand up to its allies and partners in the region. It's ready to support the island of Taiwan, and it is ready to do what it must to counter that aggression coming from Beijing.
Thank you for that. Nick Harper reporting from Washington, D.C.